This is Season 6 of the Team Roping Journal's podcast, The Score. With over 2 million downloads, this is where Team Ropers talk. Our episode is sponsored today by Equinety. Equinety offers the Equinety Edge 30-day challenge with a buy one, get one free introductory offer, where customers can try the product for themselves to see how much their horse can change for the better in 30 days. Visit www.teamequinety.com and use the discount code INTRO30 for free shipping, in addition to the challenge. Hey everyone, this is Chelsea Schaefer. Welcome to the Horse Market Report of The Score. This is our multi-month series that we are putting together for you all to get a broad sense and then a very narrow, specific sense of what is going on in the rope horse market in 2023. If you haven't listened to our first episode with auctioneer Steve Friskep, you should probably go back and listen to it. I think it broke the internet. Steve is always so popular on The Score. People just love listening to him. He's got that awesome auctioneer voice, I think. And so folks really enjoyed that episode. It is on teamropingjournal.com. Of course, it's available wherever you're listening to this podcast. You can also find the Steve Friskep episode. So again, if you haven't gone back to that, take a listen so you are fully educated on what is happening in the horse market and some of the forces at work. So today's episode is with Ty Smith. He is the CEO of Solo Select Horses. My goodness, everybody has been kind of crazy about Melanie Smith. Of course, we all are. She is the brains behind the operation at Solo Select. But Ty is the one who does a lot of the buying and selling of these high dollar horses that go through Solo Select. Some of the finest cutting cow horse reiners in the sport, as well now as the finest rope horses in the game. They just launched Select Jeans, and honestly, when we recorded this interview, it was before Select Jeans had officially launched, so I didn't actually ask him to kind of go crazy and in depth into what's going on with Select Jeans, but by all means, check out select-jeans.com, because that is a very fascinating broodmare brokerage almost. It's not exactly the way to put it, but you can customize your foals through Select Jeans, and you can get embryos and aspirations out of some of the finest mares in the industry, including some of the Relentless Remuda mares, some high-end cow horse cutting mares. You're really going to enjoy it if you check out selectjeans.com. It's like the coolest shopping trip you've ever been on, and you can go ahead and put your deposit down on those mares straight there online. It's pretty neat. So Ty is the one who does a lot of the brokering. He goes to the sales, buys a lot of the really, really, really cool horses that you end up seeing in Solo Select. He deals with the customers. He deals with the people wanting to sell their really outstanding horses, and he kind of stays in the background. So we pulled Ty out and made him explain his role and how he sees the market on the front lines. So this is a very interesting interview with Ty, a rare Ty Smith conversation that we are so grateful to have. And I hope you all enjoy it as much as we did. Okay, Ty, I am so glad you gave me a few minutes today. So I wanted you to give me first the 40,000 foot overview of where you see the horse market. Give me an intro. In 2023, going into this year, how are things on the rope horse side of the business?
I think as far as the rope horse side of the business, it's the best it's ever been. I think all of the ropers have now realized that it takes, a great horse to win, and everyone is up in their game and up in their horsepower. Mm-hmm. And when they're up in their game and up in their horsepower, that means that, we have to raise more horses that have that kind of ability.
Yeah.
And for so long we've just used, what you would call cutters or reiners or cow horses that didn't quite make, the top tier for rope horse prospects, mm-hmm. but we've brought the size out of them. Mm-hmm. So now we're having to breed, we're trying to breed for rope horses, and mainly for foot speed and size. Mm-hmm. So I see the horse market going in an upward, an upward wind at a very high rate of speed too, because there's the supply and the demand is so high.
I saw that mare that you guys bought the other day. Was it at the Heritage Place sale? That huge mare.
Yep.
That was. Yep. I had even the girl who works for us at Horse and Rider magazine, which is just a broader horse magazine. She messaged me that clip and was like, "Holy cow! I can't believe that's a mare." How was that one bred?
And just like that mare, so Melanie went up there and bought that mare, and I mean, Miles is basically waiting on her whenever she gets home, because that's the kind of stuff that those guys are looking for. And and you've got to give them kudos to paying attention, because he knows that him and Trevor have to have those kind of horses to win, and they need the size, to make head horses.
Yeah. And you and Miles have been around together for a long time, right? I think
for a long time. I've known Miles ever since he was a kid. I used to ride horses for Miles's dad back in the day. So I knew Miles back when he was more interested in sports than the horses.
Yeah.
He has definitely been mature acting just like he is now since he was 12 years old.
Yeah, he's kind of an old man. Very.
He is good like that. He used to come to my house. And pick up horses for Darren when he was 14 and drive the truck and trailer just like someone that was 30.
Yeah. Well, what do you think Miles and Trevor are obviously two of the big players and have been really good about sharing what they do on the horse side of things and sharing their opinions. I think it's been great for the industry. But what do you think the guys like that, not just them, have done to build the market?
To be honest with you, I just think that they need these prospects that have to have the right ability to compete at this level now. I think that these futurities have gotten so tough, and the guys are up so good, and there's so many good hands out there, that the horses is what's separating, the people that win first and the people that make the finals.
Yeah. Now, what about, before we started recording, you were talking about hay prices. How are hay prices right now affecting the horse market?
As far as affecting the market, I haven't seen it. But as the hay market goes on, I feel like that it will affect it a little bit, just with the reproduction side. And how many babies people are wanting to either A, put in recipient mares, or B, how many they're wanting to go and buy as prospects. So I think that's where you'll see the little gap in the horse market. Instead of a guy wanting to buy 2 or 3 prospects a year, that are yearlings or weanlings or whatever, or, you might see him just buy 1 or 2.
Yeah, that makes sense. What about the average roper? Have you had more everyday ropers come into?
I've had more everyday ropers that have, wanted to buy prospects. And that used to be a deal back in the day, like with these guys that were your amateur ropers. They always had a kid or a guy that roped real good that they used to buy horses for, to, turn a profit on. And now I see it's like a whole nother cycle, but a whole nother beast, because they're wanting to buy better and better horses, to send to these trainers. And the way that I look at it is they're buying a great prospect and then just financing the training to season it. They're sending to these, these horse trainers for a year or 2 or 3 years, expecting that they can go on and ride it themselves when it's done.
I'm going to take a break from today's episode to tell you a little bit about our sponsors at Equinety. Equinety Horse XL and Equinety Ultimate OEC help keep horses' bodies in the best shape possible when competing and going up and down the road. The amino acids in Equinety products help keep horses happy and healthy both at home and on the road. Horses recover faster and overall have healthier coat and hoof quality. Equinety products are a go-to for a solid supplement foundation for all horses at any stage of life, no matter what their job is. Equinety Horse XL is made of 100% pure amino acids, specifically formulated to give the body what it needs in order to promote repair at a cellular level. The Equinety Ultimate OEC is a flaxseed-based omega-3 with natural vitamin E and colloidal silver all in one, which makes for a very powerful antioxidant to help neutralize free radicals and to help reduce inflammation. For more information, please visit www.teamequinety.com. Again, that is www.teamequinety.com. Now, do you have in your head a scale of what rope horses should cost? Like a 10 to 20,000 is a low level prospect. I'm just making that up. Like what?
I would say a low level prospect now is I would say an 85 to 17.5 is kind of a low level prospect now. And I would say from 17.5 to 30 is a mid tier.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say, 30 to 50 is the next tier, and then from 50 on is your best ones.
Mm-hmm. And do you have, with your breeding program, do you have some favorite crosses right now? Anything that's just so hot?
As far as my favorite crosses right now, we have been buying race mares. Like we've been buying Corona Cartel mares, First Down Dash mares, and Mr. Just Perry mares, and PYC Pay Your Wagon mares, and crossing them on all Calbred studs.
Mm-hmm. That
has been my favorite cross so far because we have the size, we have the foot speed, and we have the trainability.
The trainability, that's my question. Do you think they are trainable enough that your 4 or 5 header could go ride one at the Regatta Buckle as a 5 or 6 year old? Like,
in my opinion, if they're in the correct hands, I think 100%.
Yeah. Good to know.
I think that is the biggest thing is you have to be selective of who you're going to send your horse to and have that kind of style of roping.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the beauty thing about it now, Chelsea, is there's so many guys that are training rope horses that are being successful that you don't have to just choose between 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
You have an abundance amount of people that do a great job.
Yeah, I agree. That's very true. And more people like, Joseph Harrison says that he's, not really going to rodeo like crazy this year because it makes more sense for him to sit home and train horses and take Kirchenschlager, Dakota, they've all made that choice too. So, and it's not just, I think we saw at the Regatta Buckle this year, there are a lot of great horsemen that aren't necessarily the open guys too. And they,
and that are great horse trainers. And maybe Mother Nature has, taken a toll and they just don't rope as good as they used to, but they're still great horse trainers and great horsemen, and they can train those horses for your amateur guy.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, the online sales, what should somebody know going into an online sale looking for a rope horse? What do they need to know?
The best thing about Mel's Sale is going into those sales is size. So that is one thing that we do now is we bought a scale and we have the exact stick of those horses. So size is the main thing anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the beauty thing about Mel's Sale is you know exactly what they weigh and you know exactly how tall they are.
Mm-hmm.
So it takes all the guessing out of it, and you have a full set of x-rays, and you have access to call, Mel or I that, know the difference in, how one's going to train or, what program they've come out of.
And I feel like you guys are really big on proven mares. I mean, for a lot of reasons, but can you talk about that? Why, maybe you don't just keep a bunch of brood mares around. They're not just brood mares.
No, they're either mares that the mares that are on Solo Select, I've either sold to people I've known them as a yearling, through their career. I've known their whole family, whether it's their mother or grandmother. I've had a connection to 80% of the mares on Solo Select,
Mm-hmm.
as far as resident mares.
Mm-hmm.
As far as resident mares,
yeah,
I've just known one. Maybe I've known all 5, parts of it, or maybe I've known 1 or 2 parts of it.
Yeah.
I've known either their grandmother, their mother, or, I've watched them perform, or I've watched them race, or, I watched them as a yearling, and through their career, or, I've paid attention to what those horses are.
Yeah, absolutely. And you guys have crossed some of your studs on some really cool mares this year too, right? I think
we have crossed Woody and Metallic Attack on race mares. We've crossed them on barrel mares. We've even crossed it on Casey Jones's Black Bulldogging mare.
Mm-hmm.
Melanie owns her now.
I didn't know that. That's cool.
And the mare that Casey Jones rode the finals for all those years, her name's Smoker.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have crossed them on some just cutting mares.
Mm-hmm.
But we have crossed them on a little of everything.
And are you?
But our favorite cross right now that is
mm-hmm.
working, and we're just now to the 2-year-olds that we've bred that away and we're breaking them out now. They look really promising.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. And have you seen ropers wanting to buy embryos yet?
I've seen a lot of ropers wanting to buy embryos. So Select Genes is coming out this next week, and that's going to be a thing that Solo Select has in their belt. Mm-hmm. And it's where you can buy ICSI aspirations mm-hmm. out of a library of mares that are here at Solo Select. And it's going to give, people the opportunity to buy embryos out of mares that they might, not be able to afford or may not have the opportunity to access to get to. Or, they don't want to have a mare year round and they just want to buy embryos.
Yeah. 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 It's going to be cool. I'm excited for that.
I have seen a lot of ropers call me, just waiting, kind of by the phone to see what mares that we're going to release that they have the availability to, because they just don't want to feed a mare all year just to have babies. They would rather just buy embryos and get the benefit of it that way.
Yeah. And it's not like you can go buy an NFR mare, for $15,000 and, let her stand in your pasture and eat hay and get babies out of her for the average roper. But I think you can.
You're 100% right.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for letting me pick your brain. And if I really appreciate it. It's
take care of yourself.
You too. Bye-bye. Thank you all for listening to this episode of the Horse Market Report. If you are into the horse market, if it's something that really spikes your passion and you haven't checked out what we've got on roping.com for training young horses, training rope horses, we've got it all over there. You can use code SCORE15 and we will save you 15% on a membership to roping.com. It is the most complete library of rope horse training content in the world. It has everything from Tate and Dakota Kirchenschlager to Trevor Brazil, Miles Baker, Ren Richard, Joseph Harrison, all the greats. They're over on roping.com. And they join the legends like Clay O'Brien Cooper, Jake Barnes, Matt Sherwood, and the late, great Ricky Green. We have all the content that you could possibly need, plus the live streams of the Regatta Buckle, archive footage from the American Rope Horse Futurity Association, their entire regular season and the World Championships. It all lives on roping.com.